Hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Mexico City on Friday to protest against gentrification, highlighting the struggles locals face due to rising rents and changing neighborhoods. The influx of migrants from United States in areas like Colonia Condesa has intensified the issue, with
And here we have some more Spanish hypocrisy. They're rioting in Mexico City because of American immigrants to Mexico, which don't even make up a quarter of the amount of Mexican immigrants that we have in the United States. But they're waving around signs saying Mexico for Mexicans and kill all gringos and telling the white Americans that they need to leave Mexico. And this is the hypocrisy from these low IQ, low brow, low brain function hominids that cannot understand the hypocrisy in what they're doing while their people have been flooding our country illegally for decades, working under the table, not paying taxes, sending our money back to their country, which hurts our economy, driving up our housing costs because they all get welfare from our government even though they're here illegally, and making it very hard for American citizens to afford housing. So let's watch a little bit more of this circus show going on in Mexico City.
Protesters calling for legal migration and greater contributions from newcomers.
Oh, the Mexicans want legal migration. They want us to pay taxes and speak Spanish. How about they follow their own advice and legally immigrate to my country and learn English? There's so many places you can go, especially here in Florida, where you just won't hear people speak English. All these enclaves of Hispanics who only speak Spanish, and then they get mad at Americans when we don't speak Spanish here in Florida, in our country. And again, like I said, they don't pay taxes, they work under the table. And they send our money back to Mexico, which hurts our economy and boosts the Mexican economy. So let's hear what Mexico's president has to say about, immigration, illegal immigration into our country, which, obviously she and the rest of the Mexicans support. All this, this heartfelt message she sends out to her comrades, legal and illegal, living in the United States, like there's some kind of great trophy for us. Let's just listen to this hypocrisy.
We do not agree with this way of addressing the migration phenomenon.
By the way, you can just hear the low IQ in her voice. She doesn't agree with our way of addressing the immigration phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon. Not a phenomenon at all. You people just jumped our border and came here and decided to live here legally because we had a president for 4 years who would not enforce immigration policies. That's not a phenomenon. It's just a criminal act, period. There's no phenomenon about it. And if you don't agree with us rounding up all these illegals, all these violent gang members and criminals who entered our country illegally and kicking them out, then why are you saying it's okay for Mexico to do that to law-abiding white people, Americans, in Mexico? The hypocrisy is unreal.
Raids and violence are not the way to address the migration phenomenon.
Raids and violence are not the way to address the migration phenomenon. I wonder if she had anything to say about all the Mexicans attacking white people in Mexico City that we saw. I wonder if she's got anything to say about that violence. The sign saying kill a gringo. I'm sure it's going to be crickets from her.
Venir a vivir a un país, tiene que contribuir a ese país, ¿no? La primera y la cuestión más sencilla es la migración legal. Ellos vienen aquí con visas o no visas y todavía el cambio y el poder adquisitivo genera estos problemas de gentrificación.
See, again, they're talking about legal immigration. We want legal immigration. Yeah, we wanted that in America for several decades, and you people wanted nothing to do with it. You just kept swimming across the Rio Grande and jumping our border. and tearing down fences and assaulting CBP officers. It's ridiculous that these people are talking about this now. It's hilarious, really, and I don't see how anybody can take them seriously. They're so low IQ that they really just can't even understand the hypocrisy in every statement that they're making here. And he's talking about, displacement of the indigenous people. Yeah, how about all the Hispanic enclaves in several states in the United States where, Americans have been displaced because we just can't live around these people because they're not our people. They're violent, they're filthy, and they just refuse to learn our language, and they steal constantly. So, I mean, honestly, how can you take these people seriously?
Desplazamiento, ¿no?
Eduardo Alanis noted that government policies favor wealthier newcomers, contributing to a 47% surge in rent.
Encarecimiento de la renta y es como el único modelo de vivienda que el Estado hoy proporciona. En 5 años las rentas han subido 47%. Eso es algo violento para la población.
Guys, once again, talking about the rent going up. Oh, the rent went up for you because, a handful of American immigrants came in. I highly doubt that. Okay. But again, their hypocrisy with them flooding our country, millions of them, especially during the Biden years, and then allowing so many other Hispanics from other countries to come through their country to invade ours. Our rent's been going up. Our housing has been going up for decades. Now they're finally feeling what America has been feeling. Actually, I doubt they're feeling it because there's not enough American immigration into Mexico. And the people that usually go there just stay on visas for 180 days and then they leave. So it's not even really immigration. It's literally they're just visiting, maybe working a little bit and then coming back home. But, I mean, you can't get more low IQ than this, honestly. Them trying to, copy Americans because we actually do have an immigration problem that involves them, an illegal immigration problem. We actually do have high inflation that they have caused. And now they're trying to act like they're the victims. Once again, here's this victim mentality,
Población local, nosotros nos estamos debatiendo entre pagar la luz, pagar el agua o comer. Entonces, por supuesto que preferimos comer.
Affluent foreigners, particularly Americans, are increasingly working remotely from Mexico City, drawn by its lower cost of living compared to most U.S. cities. Many stay.
Look at them just destroying their city. Nothing says I love my country, my city, more than destroying it because a handful of Americans have immigrated to your country. And again, the hypocrisy there is just ridiculous. I don't see anybody waving American flags in Mexico in any of these riots. Not like they've been doing all over our country here, waving Mexican flags in American cities while destroying our cities, further proving that they do not belong here, that they cannot live in our society. They cannot function here like human beings.
For up to 180 days without a visa, often leaving only when the limit is reached.
180 days without a visa, leaving only when the limit is reached. So you mean they're leaving when they're supposed to? They're not staying there illegally? So these people are protesting because Americans have come there at all, period. Obviously our people are leaving once the 180 days is up. They're not just staying there forever, working under the table, not paying taxes, and driving up housing costs for decades. They're not attacking people. They're not taking over apartment complexes. They're talking about gentrification of their neighborhoods. They need gentrification. Their neighborhoods are disgusting. Here in America, all of their enclaves are disgusting. Okay? They need to have it cleaned up, honestly. But they come here and they destroy our neighborhoods, literally burn down our cities, and murder people, and block traffic, and kill people with their cars, and that's totally okay. What I find super hilarious is the fact that they're repeating a lot of things that Americans have been saying for a long time now, but they're not being called brown supremacists. They're not being called racist. They're not being slandered in the media for wanting Mexico for Mexicans, and that they are obviously attacking white people on a racial basis. They're not being slandered whatsoever. I mean, the hypocrisy not only in the Hispanic people, but in the media as well is just alarming. And this is just even more reason why we need to just kick all of these people out of our country, because you see how they live in theirs. You see how low IQ they are. They're not able to function in a civilized society. Now they're attacking an innocent white woman here, so you can see that, you know, who they're actually after is just white people. They want white people out of their country. But they have absolutely no problem with their people flooding our country, refusing to learn English, working under the table, refusing to pay taxes, refusing to adopt our lifestyle and an American identity. But, they'll attack our people left and right. And, of course, kill a gringo. But, if we were to say something like, kill a Spani in America, we'd probably be put in prison for hate speech laws. And here we have Mexico's president once again slamming our government for deporting illegal migrants and talking about how such wonderful people they are that come from her country and illegally immigrate into ours and work under the table and don't pay taxes and just take over communities and destroy everything and riot. And she's calling them heroes, saying that, they're enriching our country by being here. That's funny. If they were such an enrichment, wouldn't you want them in your country?
The United States is what it is truly, also thanks to the dedicated work of Mexican men and women who live on the other side of the border. For us, as we have always said, they are heroes and heroines of the...
All right, so America is what it is because of Mexican immigrants living on the other side of the border. No, lady. America is what it is because of European settlers who conquered this land, set up a government, fought a war for independence, and created the greatest country on earth. That's why America is the way it is. Mexico did not even exist when America was turned into a great nation. All right, your people coming here and robbing us, taking over our communities, rioting in our streets, destroying things, refusing to learn our language, not paying taxes, draining our economy. That's not helping. In fact, if you look back when mass immigration of Hispanics started in the 70s, America has gone on a downward decline since then. I'd say the statistics are not on your side.